with June 1st, 2026, Poland and Lithuania officially unite, declaring the Polish-Lithuanians Commonwealth's return. And by June 2nd, Russia and Belarus amass troops on the border. Meanwhile, this war is going on in Ukraine, and while Poland offers to help Ukraine, and by help, let's just see, they mean invade. Yes, Ukraine, you're fighting on two fronts now. Their definition of protect from Russian aggression is expansionism. You guessed that right. And there's two fronts to this war. Yeah, fun times for Ukraine, yeah. With both sides racing into the country. Okay, well, Russia's not doing good at it. With NATO being shocked and the whole world is shocked at this. With them putting sanctions on Poland. Well, yeah. And for this front, it finally sees movement for the first time in a while. And by movement, I mean big movement. Obviously, Pavlovsk and other events have happened, but I mean major. Them advancing for real. With Poland racing, taking Lviv at this point. Lviv has fallen, and they start to move towards Warsaw. Kiev. With Poland seizing Kiev, a crossing of the Dnieper River quickly manages to capture, not Dnipro, Odessa for the Russians, and quickly the the Poles march in. How is this protecting Ukraine, you might be asking? It's not. And Dnipro falls into Polish hands. Yeah, I got some problems. Let's see. Between Russia and Poland, with them both threatening each other. And they go on social media and start cyberbullying each other, because that sounds fun. And Elon Musk is like, yeah, that's okay. And let's get into the next crisis, the Baltics. How does this happen? Latvia decides to join the Poland-Lithuania Commonwealth. And this angers the Russians, claiming that Poland is Russophobic and trying to destroy Russia, with protests breaking out in Belarus. Why? These protests turn violent. Who's funding them? No, that's not where we are yet. We're not at that part. So, it found out Poland was funding them, but we need to start the revolts first. And revolts break out with people claiming they would rather be part of Poland, claiming Belarus is incompetent and corrupt and their government must fall. And they believe the Polish-Lithuania Commonwealth is their way to salvation. With Russia getting suspicious. Why is this happening? With the Belarusians about to overthrow this nation, Belarusian rebels. But at this point, Russia, claiming that Poland is attacking Belarus's sovereignty, Poland, Lithuania, they declare war. Troops run to the border over the days. As this is about 2026, maybe. Not 2026. 2030 it is. 2030 on May 1st, after a few months of revolts in Belarus, the Russians launch an invasion. First, they start in the Ukrainian occupied regions, quickly taking over Kiev and overrunning the Polish forces. They also overrun here. And the Belarus rebels, they get destroyed and the leaders are hung. With Belarus recapturing their land. Poland's on the verge of collapse. Poland, Lithuania. I forgot to mention the troops they would have had at the beginning. That would have been so great to mention then. But I'm assuming since at the beginning it would have been a manpower of 644 100, which is 644,000 basically. I'm assuming that at this point with all this expansion, and at this point with this war, You could expect that to go up, maybe get to almost 1 million. Well, it gets even worse for Poland, as Germany invades, claiming that they don't want Russian occupation, basically. But we all know they want expansion. But this enraging the people of Europe. With Poland, by a miracle, who knows how, they managed to mobilize hundreds of thousands of more troops, and they start a counteroffensive in the west and in the east. Still not going to win the war with it, but they're starting to stabilize the fronts. And with this, with Germany being surprisingly defeated, yes, shockingly defeated, they take the opportunity to enter Germany. And with this entrance into Germany, they quickly take over these lands. With Germany shocked, with Poland realizing one of the better things they could do is try to infiltrate Belarus as they move into the north. As well, the Polish Lithuanian Commonwealth, as July 1st, 2032 comes, Germany officially surrenders. Unconditional surrender. With them trying to get Belarus knocked back. As the Battle of Minsk breaks out on April 31st, 1933. And this is a very important battle. With Belarus, despite Belarus and Russia being above the Poles 3-1, Poles managed to shockingly have a victory in this battle. This leads to low morale in Belarus, which leads to the collapse of Belarus. Russia quickly tries to restore lands in it to try to hold themselves back. As the Second Battle of Kiev on, May 6th, 2033 breaks out. The Polish are outnumbered 2-1, but they manage to march into victory. With Russia in a lot of trouble. With Poland now managing to mobilize for the full war over 1 million troops so far. They're at 1.1 million active troops. And while their navy has greatly expanded since the beginning, and all their other facts, like their amount of armored vehicles increase, their amount of self-propelled artillery, rocket artillery, all improve, and with a huge advantage with all the lands and having the surrendered Germany in one front left, they gain a lot. With the Battle of Kaliningrad breaking out, and so far, Russia manages to hold on, and thus the battle enters a stalemate. But this battle will last a few months, and it's September 2nd, 2033 by now. And the Battle of Vilnius breaks out, with this battle being a major battle, which leads to it's probably October 5th, 2033, as 2033 becomes a major year for their formation. And Vilnius falls by December. As January is approaching, and it's mid-December, they launch another offensive. The only problem is now, it's December. Do you really want to be fighting in these lands in December? With Poland having to figure out how to lead to a stalemate, because they don't want to lose lands in the winter, which could be Russia's biggest opportunity to take back. With Russia attempting a take back angrily and aggressively, which usually doesn't work in war. That's why America always loses wars, because they're aggressive as hell. And this is by February, as this aggressive offensive happens. Very aggressive. It's basically a massacre. As the Third Battle of Kiev breaks out, everyone, Poland outnumbered 4-1. And then they become outnumbered 5-1 by March. By April, they managed to launch up. They managed to win. With a Polish victory in the Third Battle of Kiev, it looks bad for Russian-occupied areas in Ukraine. And while at this point, it's 2034, and this falls in April 1st, 2044. As the Battle of, not Kiev, as the Battle of Odessa breaks out on May 2nd, 2034, and it yields a Polish victory. Russia being massively a victory. Although Poland fails to recapture Kiev, but they move in and take multiple Russian city strongholds. With Estonia being rumored to have been letting Russian troops in, Estonia claims they weren't. Poland doesn't believe them. Truthfully, they weren't. But, Poland doesn't believe them. And while Poland quickly rampages into them, as the Battle of St. Petersburg happens, and at this point, Poland has a manpower of 1.5 million, still less than what Russia has mobilized in this war. But thus, they are at the Battle of St. Petersburg, and they quickly move over to Finland's border, with Finland realizing, yeah, I got a plan. Yes, and that's what Finland does, their plan. You might be wondering, does Poland occupy all of Germany? No. With Finland being thought of as a safe bet for Russia, not to worry about invading, because they move troops, but when Finland enters, Russia's in trouble. Especially on the Kola Peninsula. As the Kola Peninsula collapses, Russia is shocked. Does Russia have a chance now? Slim to none. As it becomes about September 2nd, 2034, they start marching into, St. Petersburg. But at this point, a shocking upturn happens. With Romania joining with the Russians. They are shocked by this. They are completely shocked. As they move troops to help this, they decide to sacrifice lands in southern Ukraine, which they end up losing and regaining Russia corridor access to here. And they lose lands in Belarus, and the Battle of St. Petersburg slows down to a stalemate. But with this, Romania, this bug to the south basically, is quickly overthrown basically. As they move in, quickly seize the coast. They take Bucharest. Romania's like, this was a stupid idea. We should never listen to Russians. You should have learned that already, considering you were occupied by them, but I'm not judging anyone. As well, the Battle of Crimea breaks out. And this is 19. It is November 1st, 2034, and Russia's on the losing side. So, this isn't good, with Russia losing St. Petersburg, and by a shocking Poland takes Crimea, with Russia out of maneuvers. They quickly move to Russia's capital, Moscow, and then the Battle of Moscow breaks out on February 1st, 2035, and in this, they managed to take Moscow. With Russia meeting in Berlin for the Treaty of Berlin, Romania meets, all the nations meet for the Treaty of Berlin. Let's see how the treaty goes. 8th, 2035, the Peace Treaty of Berlin was signed. In it, Finland gained a huge swath of land, Karelia and some more land. Ukraine gained a bunch of Russian land, all of Belarus, big chunks of Russian Ukraine, Estonia, parts of this area, which is Germany. And they even go north into Finland, gaining lands. And they create a puppet there and Finland becomes their ally, and they create a puppet called the Free City of St. Petersburg. And well, that's all for today's video. Wild Mapper out, and please click one of the videos that